For decades, we thought we knew the story. The stressed out, high-powered executive, living on coffee and spicy food, clutching their stomach in pain. We blamed stress. We blamed diet. But what if I told you that for the vast majority of cases, that entire story is almost completely wrong? What if the real culprits behind that fiery, burning pain in your stomach were not your boss or the hot sauce you used, but a stealthy, microscopic invader or even a common painkiller you have in your medicine cabinet right now? Today, we are going on a journey into your gut to uncover the real story behind one of the most common medical conditions in the world, the stomach ulcer. We're going to bust some major myths, meet the real villains, and understand how modern science turned this painful problem into a very treatable condition. First, let's understand the battlefield. Your stomach is an incredible and dangerous place. To break down the food you eat, it produces a powerful corrosive acid. This acid is so strong it could eat through the paint on a car. So how does it not eat through your own stomach? Think of your stomach lining as a mighty fortress wall. To protect itself from its own acid, this fortress has a powerful, invisible force field, a thick layer of specialized mucus. This shield constantly neutralizes the acid, keeping the delicate fortress walls safe. An ulcer is what happens when something damages that force field, creating a breach. Acid then pours through that breach, damaging the fortress wall itself, creating a painful, open sore. For years, we thought the stress of modern life was what weakened the force field. It makes a certain kind of sense, but the science tells a different story. It turns out, there are two main culprits responsible for punching a hole in that shield. Villain number 1. The stealthy invader. This is the primary cause of most ulcers worldwide. And it's a tiny, spiral-shaped bacterium called Helicobacter pylori, or H. pylori for short. This little organism is a master of survival. It's a tiny saboteur that sets up camp in your gut. How does it survive in that sea of acid? It performs a magic trick. It produces an enzyme that neutralizes the acid in its immediate vicinity, creating a safe little bubble for itself. Then, it uses its spiral shape to drill down and burrow into the protective mucus layer, the fortress shield. Once it's safely embedded, it causes inflammation and disrupts the shield's integrity, creating that weak spot, that breach in the wall. The stomach acid does the rest. It's a brilliant strategy for the bacteria, but a painful one for the person it's living in. Villain number 2. The unwitting saboteur. The second major cause comes from a place you'd never expect, your medicine cabinet. I'm talking about a class of common painkillers called NSAIDs, which stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. You know them by names like ibuprofen and naproxen. These drugs are fantastic at reducing pain and inflammation from a headache or a sore muscle. But they have a crucial side effect. They work by blocking certain chemical pathways in your body. And one of those pathways is also responsible for producing the protective mucus that shields your stomach lining. So, when you take these drugs regularly, especially at high doses, you are unintentionally telling your body to lower its own force field. The acid that is always in your stomach can then start to damage the undefended fortress walls. It's a case of friendly fire. A medicine meant to help one part of your body can end up hurting another. So how do you know if you might have an ulcer? The alarm bell is usually a very specific kind of pain. It's often a dull, gnawing, or burning pain in the upper part of your stomach, somewhere between your belly button and your breastbone. And here's a classic clue: the timing. The pain might actually get better for a little while right after you eat, because the food acts as a buffer, soaking up the acid. But then, a few hours later, as your stomach pumps out more acid to digest that food, the pain comes back, sometimes even worse than before. Now, let's get to the best part of this story, the triumphant solution. Because we busted the myths, because scientists discovered the real culprits, the stomach ulcer has gone from a chronic, lifelong misery to a highly curable condition. The story of its discovery is amazing. A brilliant Australian doctor was so convinced that the H. pylori bacteria caused ulcers, and when no one would believe him, he actually drank a beaker full of the stuff, gave himself an ulcer, and then cured himself with antibiotics. He later won the Nobel Prize for his discovery. And that's the key. If your ulcer is caused by H. pylori, a specific course of antibiotics can eradicate the invader completely. If it's caused by NSAIDs, stopping the medication and taking powerful acid-reducing drugs gives the breach in your fortress wall time to heal. So let's bring it all home. That burning pain in your stomach is not a moral failing. It's not a sign that you can't handle stress. It is a medical condition with a clear cause and, in most cases, a clear solution. Don't just suffer through it. Don't just chew on antacids and hope it goes away. Talk to your doctor. The story of the stomach ulcer isn't really a story about stress and spice. It's a fantastic story of scientific detective work and an incredible victory for modern medicine.